The KXAN News Podcast is sponsored by Shelf Genie.
Welcome to KXAN News Today. Here are your Monday morning headlines. The work continues on designing a new elementary school for Uvalde CISD. The board is meeting tonight at 6 o'clock. It's going to consider improving the design of the new school and present a long-range plan for it.
Today marks the 10th anniversary of that fire and explosion at the West Fertilizer plant in West Texas, just north of Waco. 15 people died, 12 of them volunteer firefighters. That blast injured more than 200 people and damaged 500 homes.
Georgetown ISD is hosting a student job fair tomorrow and today from 11 o'clock in the morning till 1:30 in the afternoon. Students are going to have the chance to meet with more than 100 local businesses, and they can learn about summer job employment and intern opportunities during their lunch break.
Today, we're going to find out how Austin ISD will respond to the state's plan to directly oversee its special education department. Thanks for joining us. I'm Tom Miller.
I'm Sally Hernandez. The Texas Education Agency, the TEA, says AISD has not done enough to help students in that program, and it plans to implement a conservator team. But the school district may have other plans. It has until the end of today to decide if it wants to appeal that decision. And it comes after the TEA investigation into the school district backlog of special education evaluations. The most recent data from the end of January showed it was behind on nearly 1,800 special education evaluations, including initial and re-evaluations, which the district needs to do in order to identify students with disabilities and children who need additional or support.
But I have noticed some changes from the district level stuff that are starting to trend in the right direction. We do have a school board and interim superintendent who seem to recognize the severity and urgency of the problem, seem to be being more proactive and a little less reactive.
Okay, right now AISD is offering a $5,000 per year stipend for special ed classroom teachers.
Filling these positions has been more challenging, not only in AISD, but districts throughout Central Texas. So here's how we got to this point. The advocacy agency Disability Rights Texas filed a lawsuit against Austin ISD back in 2021. That group alleged about 800 students were waiting on delayed initial evaluations, another 1,600 waiting on delayed 3-year evaluations. Those evaluations are needed to identify students with disabilities and children who need additional support or services. Last December, the group asked the TEA to conduct a special investigation into the district, made a similar request 2 years ago. In the past, the district told us the pandemic was challenging because it prefers to do evaluations in person. District also lost teachers and some of those specialists needed for the evaluations.
First warning weather with meteorologist Sean Kelly.
Happy Monday morning, everyone. We start off your day here with temperatures a little bit cool with right now temperature at 54 degrees here in Austin. Hopefully you had a fun and restful weekend. Here we are starting off your week with another beautiful day and then getting ready for kind of a big change in the weather pattern to some more rain. We start off with a look at the visibility. This is not an issue right now, but tomorrow morning at this time, I think it's going to be a bit foggy as we start to see increasing humidity and moisture in our area. For right now, wind's not an issue, but just like yesterday, we're going to see a pretty breezy day. Yesterday, the winds were out of the north. Today, they will be out of the south, southeast. Could see some wind gusts near 20, 30 miles per hour, and that will continue on through the day into Tuesday as well. For right now, again, it is dry. These dew points really nice out there, 20s, 30s, and 40s. That is some refreshing low humidity, but that will change here through the next 24 to 48 hours. A big jump in the humidity and also those rain chances. We'll talk about more of that coming up in First Warning Weather.
Okay, thank you, Sean. Students at one Round Rock ISD campus don't have school today. Administrators canceling after people vandalized it over the weekend.
The principal of Walsh Middle School sent out an email to parents yesterday saying unidentified individuals caused what he calls significant damage and broke science wash stations. They caused flooding throughout the campus, and that flooding impacted a third of the classrooms. Comes as the school gets ready for STAR testing this week. Officials will send out an update later on this evening.
Taxes are due tomorrow, and if you're one of those procrastinators who still hasn't filed your taxes, you are not alone.
No, last year's study found 1/3 of Americans wait until the very last minute. Coming up next on the Today Show, NBC News' Vicki Nguyen has tips for any last-minute filers and what the latest average timeline looks like for a 2022 refund. Mayor Kirk Watson has served in his new role for a little more than 100 days. How he plans to handle some major changes that are coming to the city.
How Texas lawmakers are looking to lower the cost of your prescription drugs. Good morning, a live look outside on this Monday morning from our Lady Bird Johnson Wildflower Center camera. You can see some stars out as we start another work week, another school week, and we are getting a better idea of how Austin's mayor plans to handle some of the major challenges facing the city. These include affordability and public safety.
Mayor Kirk Watson has served in his role for a little more than 100 days now, and KXAN Sarah Alshay sat down with him.
Some days I think, wow, this is the fastest 100 days I've ever experienced.
Fast and furious. That's how Austin Mayor Kirk Watson describes the nearly 4 months he's been in office. In that time, Mayor Watson says he's taken steps towards getting more affordable housing. One of the ways, he says, is by bringing in a consulting company to look deeper at the city's permitting process.
One of the big problems we have with getting more affordable housing is how long it takes to get a site plan. To help us with the permitting, the site plan process.
From housing to addressing homelessness. The mayor says he's also spent time working on a program to help with the lack of emergency shelters in this city.
The city's going to look at how we take care of the people that were being displaced as a result of the Salvation Army's decisions. We want to do it in a way where we have plenty of beds and shelter beds.
When it comes to public safety, Watson says he came into the position with a massive staffing shortage at the Austin Police Department, leading to longer response times. That's why he says the city partnered with the Texas Department of Public Safety to help fill the gaps.
DPS is helping us with traffic and with regard to violent crime.
Watson says there's already been lowered response times and a decrease in violent crime since the DPS patrol started. Still, some community members tell KXAN they worry about the presence of troopers in certain neighborhoods. Watson assures there's oversight from APD Chief of Police Joseph Chacon.
He's in touch with the director for this region with DPS to make sure that there's a clear communication about what is expected from DPS as they supplement, as they support APD.
As the mayor looks ahead, he says there are several upcoming initiatives related to child care costs and homelessness that he expects to announce in the coming weeks and months.
It just energizes me for the next 100 days.
Sarah Alshay, KXAN News.
Watson says there is no timeline yet for when the partnership between APD and DPS is going to end, but they will keep monitoring the data from their traffic stops.
Still ahead, some people will have some more clean clothes to wear this morning, thanks to Austin FC players.
And the investigation into Lady Bird Lake and another body pulled from it.
Another wild one for the Longhorns as they try to hold on to first place by themselves in the Big 12. I've got more on that coming up.
This KXAN News podcast is brought to you by Shelf Genie. I'm Rosie Newberry from KXAN Studio 512. Considering replacing your kitchen cabinets? Struggling to find or reach things? Go to shelfgenie.com/Austin. Shelf Genie designs custom pull-out shelves for your existing cabinets, adding convenience and value to the most used room in your home. Shelf Genie custom pull-out shelves, everything in reach.
Good morning, everyone. A live look outside at 4:43 this Monday morning. Sean has the latest when it comes to your forecast coming up in just the next few minutes. But first, we got your sports.
This is KXAN Sports, brought to you by Thomas J. Henry.
Hi, good morning to you. Longhorn baseball team back home for the next 5, beginning Wednesday against Abilene Christian. This after a very eventful 3 days in Waco. Friday, nearly lost an 11-3 lead in the ninth. Saturday, lost a 9-5 lead in the ninth. And then on Sunday, for the series, and the Longhorns and Bears tied up at 3. Caleb Bregman, though, unties it. He brings home 2. Baylor at the bottom of the Big 12 standings, but trying to send the Big 12 leaders down 2 out of 3. 7th inning, though, Porter Brown gets one back with that RBI off the wall. It's 5-4. Rylan Galvan, he had struck out 3 times in 3 at-bats, and then he picked a good time to get a base hit, 2-run single, and Texas grabs a 6-5 lead. Longhorns living by the home run this year, but they had not hit one in the series until Eric Kennedy unloads, and that gives Texas a little insurance, and they need a lot of insurance in the late innings as of late. But with a 7-6 lead, Baylor with the runner at first inexplicably tries to steal. Cole Tremaine is thrown out by Galvan, and that puts out a fire, and then LeBaron Johnson with the strikeout. Longhorns do get the victory, so they lead the Big 12 by a game over TCU. All right, let's go out to Circuit of the Americas, MotoGP, and well, it's the only stop in the United States, and check out Francesco Paco Bagna. He was leading the race and then just got a little bit too far and slid right out of there, and you can see his garage devastated. He looked like he was on his way. Instead, it's Alex Lins, the Spaniard. It's his second win at COTA. He also won it back in 2019. PGA Tour in Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. Jordan Spieth, the defending champ, in a playoff with Matthew Fitzpatrick for the win. Celebrate, Jordan. Oh, my goodness. He cannot believe that ball did not find the bottom of the cup. Missed another putt on the second playoff hole to win, and finally Fitzpatrick with a great approach shot, and he gets the victory. That's his second win. He also won last year's United States Open, and the Rangers take 2 out of 3 from the Astros in Houston, winning last night's ball game. Back to you.
Thank you, Roger. Some people have clean clothes to wear this morning, and this is thanks to Austin FC players.
Yeah, the team's goalkeeper Brad Stuver hosting a laundry project event here in Austin on Sunday. During a 3-hour event, volunteers were able to go in and help people at the Quick Wash laundromat do their laundry, and they cover their costs.
It's very cool to just see all parts of the Austin community and the Austin FC community be out here and support this project.
When we first started, it was just we wanted to help one laundromat and one community and help as many people as we could there, and it kind of spread like wildfire from there.
Yeah, Stuver was the first ever MLS player nominated for ESPN's Humanitarian of the Year award last year, with this laundry project being a big reason for the nomination. Yesterday's one of several that they do around the city with his wife. They're very involved in it.
Right, involved in the community. Love to see that.
They really are.
And there was a lot going on in Austin over the weekend. We had Austin FC, we had MotoGP, we had festival in Georgetown.
That's right.
A lot going on, and it's good to start off on a quiet note here.
Yeah,
on
and
this
it was
Monday morning.
perfect weather over the weekend.
It was really nice, and this morning starting off a little bit cool, but we've got almost a perfect day today, just with the mainly sunny skies. Just make sure you have that sunscreen if you're going to be out. Maybe you're heading out on the trail, or maybe you're running a few work meetings, or just heading outside for a few hours. Just be careful with, again, that UV index. Don't forget the sunscreen, the hat, the sunglasses. It's a little bit cold out there in Georgetown right now. 49 degrees as you're waking up with us. 54 degrees here in Austin right now. The winds calm for the moment, but they will increase into the later part of the morning and especially into the afternoon here. The next few hours, I mean, these temperatures really perfect, climbing into the low to middle 70s by lunchtime. So it's jacket weather right now. You don't need the jacket into the later part of the day, but look at some of these temperatures here. 49 in Cameron, 49 from Marble Falls into San Saba, sitting at 48, 48 in Blanco. So it's a chilly start. Again, clear conditions, nothing going on across the state other than a few spot showers well out towards the west. We'll see a mix of sun and clouds, but certainly more sun than clouds today. But overnight, we start to see increasing clouds becoming mostly cloudy to overcast. And then tomorrow morning, kind of overcast with low-level clouds, some fog out there, and maybe even some morning drizzle for your commute tomorrow. Then we see a few spot showers into tomorrow afternoon and evening. And then we even get ready for Tuesday night into Wednesday morning for a round of thunderstorms that push in. We'll have to continue to see exactly who sees the highest chance. But for right now, this model depicts would be Williamson County, Milam County, and Lee County, perhaps even Fayette County, seeing those thunderstorms, maybe even a few of which could be on the stronger side. And then we're looking at some daily rain chances Thursday, Friday. We start off Saturday morning quiet, but watch what happens here. Saturday evening and into Sunday, more rain and some thunderstorms. So a big shift in the weather pattern from beautiful and dry to certainly rainy and even hot at times. Some of these rainfall totals in a few spots could exceed over an inch through the next 7 days. So would love to see that. So 79 degrees today, mainly sunny skies, a bit breezy at times here, and then we're breezy over the course of the next few days. These temperatures warm up and really heat up into the upper 80s Thursday and Friday. Those rain chances get a little bit lower by the weekend after a cold front dips us down into the 70s.
Sounds good. Thank you, Sean. The investigation continues this morning into a mass shooting at a teen's birthday party Alabama police say 4 people are dead and 28 are hurt.
Gunfire erupted inside a crowded dance studio on Saturday. The Dadeville community gathered for a vigil yesterday to share their thoughts and prayers. Police still do not know how the shooting started.
There were 4 lives, not fatalities, lives. There were 4 lives tragically lost in this incident, and there's been a multitude of injuries. As they said, this is going to be a long, complicated process.
Police say most of the victims are teenagers. Texas lawmakers are looking to lower the cost of your prescription drugs through a bill passed in the House last Thursday.
It's bipartisan legislation. It would allow Texas to import drugs from Canada. KXAN's Ryan Chandler explains how this would work.
Well, the authors of House Bill 25 estimate the bill could save Texans up to 70% on your common prescriptions if we import them from our northern neighbors, where the costs there are much cheaper. And for those struggling financially, those savings could make a big difference.
I am one of many Americans that have medical issues and can't afford to get the medications that I need. I am a single mother, special needs child, so at times I do have to choose who's going to get the treatment. Is it going to be her or is it going to be me?
Stories like Donna's are why this bipartisan group of representatives are pushing for solutions. Farmer groups have expressed concern about the safety of importing drugs not made in America, but the bill would require imports to be tested and approved by the FDA.
I am totally pro-business, but I am pro-free enterprise and a functioning market. And this is not a functioning market.
We can help ensure that Texans can afford the prescription drugs they need for themselves and for their families. This bill is about saving lives.
That bill will now head to the Senate, where Lubbock Republican Charles Perry will lead the effort to push the bill through. In Austin, I'm Ryan Chandler. Back to you.
Now, according to the bill's fiscal note, it'll cost the Health and Human Services Commission about $2.8 million to implement this bill, and about the same in subsequent years. Contracting with Canadian drug suppliers is going to cost about $20 million each year.
Well, going in depth, Texas actually passed a similar bill back in 2005, but before the law could even take effect, the FDA told the state that it was against federal law to import prescription drugs from Canada. Greg Abbott was the state's attorney general at that time, and he issued an opinion agreeing with the FDA, and the Texas law never happened. The federal landscape has changed in recent years, though. Back in 2020, President Trump encouraging states and federal governments to bring in lower priced drugs from Canada. And when President Joe Biden took office, he ordered the FDA to work with the states to develop those programs. Now, 6 other states, including Florida and Colorado, are working to implement programs to get drugs from Canada. The stage is set for a showdown at the Texas Capitol, with the House and the Senate at odds over how to cut your taxes.
Both have passed bills that aim to give Texans relief, but in different ways. The Senate is proposing a way to raise the homestead exemption from $40,000 to $70,000. So that's the amount of a home's value that is exempt from property taxes.
There is a challenge with appraisal caps. They don't limit property taxes overall. If I've owned my house and I've lived in it for 20 years, my taxes have been capped at a fairly low level. Person moves into the neighborhood and buys the house across the street from me. Our homes may be identical, but my property tax bill could be 1/3 of what their property tax bill is.
Last week, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick told reporters he does not want to compromise on appraisal caps. The two chambers do agree on the amount, setting aside about $17 billion for these tax cuts.
SpaceX has cleared the final hurdle for launching its new giant Starship from Texas on a first test flight. The Federal Aviation Administration issued a license for the launch to go ahead. That license is valid for 5 years.
SpaceX announced that Starship could soar as soon as today. It is the world's biggest and most powerful rocket. You can see it just looking at it, how big it is. SpaceX will attempt to send the spacecraft around the world, all the way to the other side with the Pacific Ocean near Hawaii. And looking ahead, NASA has already signed up for a Starship to put astronauts on the moon's surface as early as 2025.
Thanks for joining KXAN News today. You can also listen to KXAN News Nightly every weekday after 5:30 p.m. for in-depth coverage on what matters most to you.